You ready? Let's intro you. This is Sam Martin. When did we get originally linked now? We were just talking out there like 4 or 5 years ago. It doesn't even feel like it.
I think it's longer, dude.
That's
I want to say
sickening.
like 2014.
That's sickening.
Maybe.
No way. No way.
I met Josh and Jeff in 13. And
No
I
way,
feel like I
because
met you soon after.
I was in LA. I think it was 15.
15? Maybe 15.
Because
it was
2014, we were touring, going crazy. I remember meeting you a little more established out here, and I'd been living here. I think it was 15. Yeah, I think it was 15. Either way,
nonetheless,
it's sickening how fast time's going.
Sickening, dude.
But we got linked through mutual friends, and we automatically hit it off. Had a hilarious conversation. I remember that night. He's a punter for the Detroit Lions. How long you been there now?
7.
It's a long tenure, sir.
Talk about time, bro.
It's a long tenure.
I know.
Yeah.
Known you for most of that time, too.
Yeah, exactly. You were a second-year guy, one of the highest-paid punters in the league at the time. I think you had just gotten a deal.
That was 15.
Yeah, it was 15.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about it.
That's right.
But punters are people too, man.
They are.
Punters are fucking
They do
people
podcasts too.
Yeah. Pat, we were talking about Pat. You've gotten linked.
Yeah. Pat's so the NFL kicking world is a fraternity. You know?
Yeah, it is.
It's like,
and he's like the leader.
Yeah, he is the face leader of it. Yeah, he is the face of the movement for the brand, right? I mean, that's his thing.
Exactly.
So, he's awesome. He was. I remember right when I got drafted. One of the first tweets I saw was from McAfee. Congrats, welcome to the fraternity, whatever like that. So he's been like that to me ever since
brotherhood.
I know him. Yeah,
I love that.
But yeah, no, his podcast is freaking killing it.
Booming.
Dude is killing it.
He's another guy. It doesn't seem like he's trying. I mean, he's obviously magnificently busy. The guy's rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Like he's on a path. That dude.
No doubt.
But it seems effortless, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like kind of his calling. Dude, think about that. He called it early. He called it kind of in the prime, right?
He did.
Was
he was just coming off a Pro Bowl. Still elite, but that
coming
way.
off a Pro Bowl to dip out, and it's to be said that he's not playing a high collision. You're obviously not taking a bunch of hits, so those are usually the guys that like bow out early.
Yeah.
I have yet to sit down with him. I've just texted with him, and we've ran into each other a few times, but like never sat down and picked his brain about it really. But that was kind of a groundbreaking move in a sense. Like
it was probably like, I don't think there's ever been bigger punter news in the punter realm. To be honest with you.
Huge.
Yeah,
a punting boom.
From my understanding, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, Pat, but he had bum knees, man. It just was trying to play through it, but I don't think it's more so. I think. Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for Pat, but he's clearly found his calling.
Right.
Like he's unbelievable what he's doing right now, and he was an unbelievable punter. But it's just like one of those things. He just figured it out. Like I think it's what he wanted to do. Just kind of what we were talking about.
Caught a wave.
Yeah.
Caught a wave. So we were talking about off camera a little bit, but for the structure of this, I was inspired by this book, Think and Grow Rich, where it's like this dude basically learned for years, about 15, 20 years, had access, this millionaire, at the time, it was in the early 1900s. I believe it was Andrew Carnegie hired this guy, and he's like, I'm going to give you access to my entire network, and you're going to study them for the next decade. You can go shadow them. You'll have sit downs. They're all aware. And I want you to create more or less a Bible of successful people. What do they do?
Okay.
How do they react to things? How do they build their teams? What are the similarities?
Yeah.
What are the similarities in what they don't do? So, and he's like, I'm not going to pay you. And if you're not going to take it because of the pay, then you're not the right guy for it. And this dude, Napoleon Hill, he did it. Ended up selling 100 million copies of the book. Think and Grow Rich, went on to work for the president and be a.
I gotta remind you to send me some books.
Yes, for sure.
Wait, so
once I was reading that, and I'm like, kind of had I've been meditating a bunch and shit, and I like remember thinking, I woke up with the idea, and I was just like, oh man, we should just do a podcast. Because, like we were talking out there, I've talked about it on this a handful of times already, but we knew we were pumping the brakes on Mike Stud.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously I couldn't disclose that for a while, and I knew we weren't going to, everything I was making was for Mike.
Right.
So we were saving it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is a way, and I felt like I was losing a connection with the fans. I'm not going to be a YouTuber and be like, hey, here's our day, like, we're going to go prank people at, Central Park. Like, you know what I mean? It's like one of these things where I didn't know where, and it clicked one day. I was just like, man, I have so many dope friends, And I was reading Think and Grow Rich at the time, and I'm like, that's the model, just in a modern, cool way.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have access to a bunch of successful people. Let's have conversations, and people can be like, yo, because
conversations.
Everything comes together, and they're like, yo, there's so many similarities between all the successful people.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So you can walk through at whatever pace your kind of journey to where to getting to the league. I know your shit was very different because you weren't even fucking football. You weren't even a punter.
Yeah, it's a little different.
But you can walk through whatever. Like, tell me about growing up a little bit, where you're from, etc. I'll interject and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, this is actually good because I feel like we skipped a lot of phases.
I don't even know
our relationship.
We just jumped to having a good.
Yeah, I like partying with this guy. That's what we got.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
want to have a beer with that guy.
Hell yeah. So I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida. Mm-hmm. Moved to Atlanta, raised in Atlanta, played soccer my whole life, basketball too, a little bit. I did win the Lions 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah? Were you a shooter?
Yeah, I was a shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then I hit the lane.
Do you still play?
No.
You try to just stay out of fucking.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah. As we'll get to eventually, some reason I attract danger sometimes.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So anyways, I'm a soccer player my whole life. Soccer family, 2 sisters, both played soccer in college. And I was committed to play soccer. I had a bunch of offers to play soccer, and I committed my junior year. And the football team always was like, come kick. I was like, wasn't really feeling it, but at that point I was like, fuck it. I'll give it a go. I'm committed now. I got my scholarship.
This in high school?
Yeah, this is in high school. I got my scholarship. I'll go get this football thing. I'll go kick for the hell of it.
Right.
So first of all, I get there and they put me in a defensive jersey like I was about to play safety. That wasn't happening. So quickly stuck to the kicking.
Called an audible?
Yeah, called a quick audible. Put me over there on that field. So I went straight to kicking. Field goals and kicking off. Not much coaching, not much direction, just like, screw it. I'm gonna give this a go. I was probably below average at accuracy, didn't make many kicks, but I'd hit my kickoffs through the uprights every time. So I started getting some attention. And
just off the leg power.
Yeah, and mind you, like
sheer leg power.
I had to be shown in the locker room. I got made fun of trying to put my pads in my pants the first day. Like, so I'm like, literally, this is a whole new world.
Just like
today.
Not a football guy.
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. It was weird, and it was all new to me.
Yeah.
So get some looks. I start going on visits, like to official visits to Auburn, UGA, and like these bigger schools.
But you're committed already to soccer.
Yes,
so
and they know these schools know that.
And where were you committed?
Georgia State.
So were they tripping? Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
No, they didn't really know. So not cool.
I like that. Diversify.
Yeah, I'm like, if at the very least, it's going to be a fun trip to Auburn or some shit. So I was on the field for these football games, 70,000 people. Shit. I'm like a lot different than my soccer invites to College of Charleston and all these small schools. So anyways, I'm like, I'm eating this shit up. I'm like, okay, this is tight. This is cool.
I can get used to this.
Yeah, I can get used to this.
Playing baseball is the same thing. I went to Duke, but like, going
from Boston.
Yeah, but like going to like baseball, comparatively to like, what soccer is to football, baseball is to basketball, in the sense of like, there's way more attention. So many people care. There's like that whole environment of like being a big man on campus. You don't fucking get that being a Duke baseball player. Likewise to like
unless you're David Beckham.
Yeah, I mean, and you probably wouldn't be going to those, even playing.
Right. No, it was a nut. I had to it was a nut check kind of like I'd played my whole life. That's all I like. Soccer was like 100% of my time. It was like school or I was at soccer. It was high school or I played on the Georgia Olympic team, and then high school, and then the club travel team. So it was
interesting though.
Soccer player, bro. So I'm starting this new kind of, at the same time though, I'm kind of getting sick of soccer a little bit too, because of that very reason.
A bit of a burnout.
Yeah, the definition of a burnout pretty much. So anyways, I give the football thing a chance. On signing day, I had both. I ended up getting some offers. App State I went up there on a visit, and they were the only one that actually ended up offering me a scholarship.
Okay.
So
in the Appalachian Mountains, right? What is that out in North Carolina?
Big baseball school.
Yeah,
kinda.
Good baseball program.
Yeah, pretty good.
We played them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close, not too far.
No, not far.
Yeah,
Raleigh,
from
right?
where we were.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we're like 2-3 hours. It was Boone, North Carolina. The only reason I know that is because Stroman used to date a girl that went there.
I knew her.
Hildy?
Yes.
I used to get with her sister, Ida. You ever meet Ida?
No, but
shout out Ida, man. Fuck, she was fly.
Shout out Hildy too. Actually, I don't think I remember. I didn't know. I just knew she was dating some guy. Like we were kind of in the same circle, ran around. I just knew she dated some baseball player from Duke, and then I've put it all together since then.
What a small
I meant
world.
to tell you that too.
Crazy. So you went to App State.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
So I said on signing day, I'm gonna do this football thing. But
so you had you had committed to
that
Georgia.
was tough.
And
I
was just gonna say, were there any stipulations there?
No, I didn't sign anything yet. But
great.
On
so
signing
just like a
day,
verbal commitment.
Yeah. But
cool.
they faxed over like papers for me to sign on signing
and you're
day.
like, oh yeah, okay.
I'm like, ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
We went with football, and you had played one season?
Yeah, I'd played one season, but
and were you starting to ball like you must have been pretty fucking good, or were you still feeling like you were mediocre?
Still just kickball far. That was the extent of
probably
my
a great kickball guy.
talent.
Huh?
Yeah, good kickball guy.
I was a kickball 5-star. I was a 5-star kickball guy.
I bet you would be. You look like you got it
back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's like a mini game of baseball kind of, but then you sprinkle in some soccer elements.
There you go. You got it.
I was the guy that peg you from 200 feet away,
I'd be a designated kick guy.
Yeah. Decent leg on me. Probably nothing like yours, but
I bet you freaking ripped it though. You're probably all-time pitcher.
Yeah. I was pegging people all over the place. Yeah. You know? It is what it is. I had a short run, but it was a great run.
It was a good run.
I'm thinking about maybe doing, because baseball is not one of those sports, none of these guys will play catch with me.
None?
It's one of those things where it's if you played baseball, you know what I mean? You'd be like, cool, I could play. You know what I mean? I'll play catch with you. But if you didn't play baseball, maybe you only played up to 10th grade or even 8th grade or something like that, it's a little when someone's throwing hard.
It's intimidating.
They want nothing to do with it. So it's not one of those games where oh, I could still go get pickup. You know what I mean? Run a pickup game easy anywhere. It's not one of those games
you can't.
I can't find pickup baseball. I'm not going to join a fucking league. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I don't get to play. But we were just talking about it today for my album release party. I think I might do a little celebrity kickball game.
Do it. And
just
I'm there.
Have all the athletes come out and just
that'd be huge.
Have a beer pong, ping pong, outdoor vibe.
Just the whole party.
I was like, it's funny you bring up kick. We somehow landed on kickball, but yeah, that was literally today. I was talking about that.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
But with that being said, too, the reason why I stopped playing baseball was it was too slow for me, and I was scared shitless of the ball.
Yeah, the ball sucks.
I was jumping out of it would be like an outside pitch, and I was jumping out of the box.
The ball sucks. We sound like pussies in front of Danny, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? This guy. It's just one of those things where getting hit with a baseball sucks.
No shit. One time was enough.
Not
for
even
me.
close to getting hit by a real NFL fucking full speed shit, but
it's
whatever.
It's only happened to me a couple times, but
yeah, you get fish out of water. You can. I feel like
fish out of water.
Have you had any bad
last year
moments?
Last preseason, I got decleated, blindsided, fucked up.
Wow.
I felt it for a couple weeks.
What happened? Bruised ribs or something, or?
I had a bruised sternum.
That's
they
an
thought I had a broken
rib,
rib,
isn't it? Slightly.
Well, actually, there was 2 instances. The one I'm talking about wasn't preseason. It was against the Bears. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily dirty. It was not necessary, but it was.
Yeah. He just wanted to jack you up.
Yeah, he jacked me up. Good
shit.
Yeah.
Did it affect your kicking game for a little bit?
I gotta send you this picture. You can bring it up right at this point.
Yeah.
My rookie year, I ran a fake field goal.
Oh man.
And Cameron Hayward absolutely killed me.
So you've had
fumbled on the 1 yard line. I almost scored.
Oh my god.
Big time.
That would have been your only touchdown?
Yes. I know, dude.
Fuck.
I think about it today. Yeah. But I got a really good picture of my feet above my head and the ball's over there.
Yeah. We'll flash it.
Yeah,
we'll flash it. So now, are you saying that at what point in that decision-making process were you like, I'm actually ready to be done with soccer? That's an interesting, there's a similarity already in that, there's something about being able to pivot that enables success. Meaning
this is
your whole life, and think about, I relate to that so much. I had a really drastic pivot from being a baseball player my whole life to being a rapper.
Right.
It was just very absurd. But even how old are you, 18?
Yeah, something like
18?
that.
To make that pivot that early and just jump and do that is it's interesting. That's
Yeah, I mean the thought process really to this day I kind of wonder why it was a weird transition. Plus I was going to App State, I didn't know a single human there. That was part of it too though. If I stayed in Georgia, I didn't really want to stay in Georgia. I kind of wanted to get away.
Yeah.
So but that decision was kind of to this day I'm shit, obviously the best decision of my life. But it's
right?
Yeah, it's what really caused me or provoked me to no soccer. Let's randomly let me get on this bus to Boone, North Carolina and start kicking footballs. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. I barely could put my fucking pads on.
I was 20, 21, I think. Or maybe, I think 21 when I made a very drastic pivot. and I felt like
very drastic.
I felt like a baby. You know what I mean? Like when I think back, you know, it's partially because of what I do, but you guys experience this too. You're playing games every day. It's a very, for lack of a better word, non-adult existence in the sense of like, wake up, go to practice, go to the game,
that's
work out. You know what I mean? And that's work. And like, obviously what I do, you know, there's a lot of fuckery going on. I feel like I'm in college half the time still. So it's like, but when I think about age and I think back to then making a decision like that, it's wild to think about. You know what I mean? Because I kind of just jumped at it, but it sounds like you did kind of similarly and like just as randomly almost.
Yeah. And it wasn't, and so it definitely crossed my mind, like what we just said, like, okay, maybe I go to the MLS, maybe.
Right.
But like, I'm not going playing in Europe. I'm not like making it. So I was like, this allegedly I have an NFL strength leg. You know, maybe this is my ticket type thing. So it also wasn't like I love this kicking thing. This is awesome. I'm gonna do this forever. Right. It was just kind of like, I think if I put some time into this, I might be good at it.
Right. Yeah. So at what point at App State did you start to be like, oh shit?
Well, here to talk about another pivot story. I was actually gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
So I get there as a kicker. I was a kicker, and I was the first scholarship kicker App State is brought in. Like, it was kind of a big deal in Boone.
Right.
So I
big boy in Boone. Baby.
Yeah. So I go in there, and I like expectations to start as a freshman, blah blah, and I go in there, dude, and lay the biggest egg. I'm like hitting linemen on field goals, like PAT. It's like, wow. They're like, what the fuck?
Wow.
The coaches.
So did you get the yips a little bit?
Well, this is what really happened. As a soccer player, I didn't really work out at all. So I'm in there in this strength program now, and like I can't sit on the toilet, and I'm like lining up to kick field goals.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it was kind of a lost cause, but I realized the guy I was going to competition with was a senior walk-on guy. It was pretty fucking good, actually. So he starts that year. I get redshirted. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Why am I here?
Wow.
Why am I kicking? I thought about transferring, playing soccer at that point. Like, what a waste of my time. That guy ended up being like really good, like All-American. Or no, he was a junior, so he had 1 year left. So they were like, Sam, if you want to play, you have to learn how to punt. So I hadn't even punted yet at this point.
You were a place kicker.
I was a place kicker.
Wow.
So I'm like,
interesting.
Well, fuck. So then it was like kind of another pivot. And I was like, shit, I've never done this. And now I've like committed.
Was part of you like, I want to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah. I went
Boone's out there.
It is out there. But I like Boone.
It's a vibe. Yeah. It's a vibe. I mean, yeah, it depends.
Vibe.
Like personally, you might love it. You know what I mean?
It's in the cut though.
But to go somewhere foreign,
you
know, that's obviously not a huge change from Georgia, like climate and vibe. But like, still, I mean, it's out there, and then to go and have your plan kind of go to shit.
It was to shit, literally. I was like, why am I here? You know, whatever. Thought about transferring, giving up on the football dream that I had for like a cup of coffee.
Right.
And but then I said, fuck it, and I started punting and
kicking it a mile.
But like, no, it took me a minute. Like, I was ass until like my senior year. I literally, if you look at my stats, like in college, it's shit. And then my senior year, I was All-American and got drafted.
Wow.
It was like, holy shit, this happened.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It happened
quick. I mean, it's hard. I have no gauge on punter trajectories. And like, are there guys who are just like unbelievably highly touted? I feel like it's like a position where it really only matters that last year. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a super highly touted position where you're like, this guy's the best kicker. He's going right to the league. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure. It's like,
I don't even know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty right. I mean, it's really hard. Like, teams miss drafting kickers all the time. Like, guys will be like miss one kick their whole college career and then get drafted in the 4th round and get cut like halfway through a season.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's super hard to predict in that sense.
Are punters getting drafted?
It's like 1 to 3 a year, 0 to 3 a year, I guess sometimes. Yeah.
It is crazy. It is an unbelievably, like in the NFL especially, just as a consumer. It's wild when you have an incredible punter though. What it does to like.
There's a lot of hidden yardage for sure.
Yeah,
so
like
people don't get it.
What it does to just game flow and like, you know,
No
obviously
doubt.
field position battles and shit like that. It's wild. So now you graduate on time and you're what? It's a roll of the dice. You go start trying out. How does it transition to actually landing on a roster? Like from graduating at App State.
Yeah.
What's the process there from getting into the league?
Well, I didn't get invited to shit. Like, I went to no combine, no anything. I just started getting a bunch of workouts. So I forget how much, like 15 workouts as a punter out of App State.
Yeah.
But it was really because I got invited to nothing. So teams were like, okay, we're going to at least check them out.
Right.
So I got a lot of traction quick in that sense. And then I had good workouts. And then it's pretty much what you just said. It's like what
Just
like,
boomed off at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
And what, right to Detroit?
Yeah, right to Detroit.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's about when you mentioned, I think you mentioned it, and especially in regards to being a punter, that position, you want to come in with you want to stay with your native team, like the one that is that something you were saying? I want to say you were telling me at dinner about this. But
I think most players, for the most part, like it's you want to play like that's like would
Right.
be a cool feat.
You got to be one of the longer tenured. I mean, Stafford's been there for a minute.
Yeah,
but you're one of the longer tenured Lions guys, right?
Yeah.
7 years.
Well,
just on the
you
team.
have Muehlbach, who's year 16, he's a long snapper, and then Stafford just finished 11. Yeah, and then me, and then Slay, the same class as me.
You were telling me Stafford's the fucking man, huh?
Staff's the man.
It's just
So we just went down there. He lives in OC, down in Laguna. We just went to dinner with him for his birthday.
Yeah.
32.
He's got big boy bread too.
Big boy bread.
Yeah.
Not that punter money. It's
Yeah.
like QB money. Long money.
Long money.
Yeah.
What do you sign for, like 60 or something like that? 50?
I don't know. I think it's like 27 a year or something he's working with.
Sheesh.
Staff.
Sheesh. Send me some of that, guys.
No shit.
Man.
Quarterback money is like, I think
It's like pitcher money.
the next dude's about to get, I think Mahomes is probably, someone's going to get 40 soon.
Mahomes is a monster.
Yeah.
Is he, when you guys, we'll talk about it, but when you guys watch him, is he, like, for me, I don't watch tons of football, but it seems like he's the most dynamic guy I've seen in a long time. Just playing that position.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
It's not even like a quarterback. He throws like a shortstop half the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm commenting as just a fan. He's
yeah.
insane.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's insane.
And what? Super young, like 23?
24. Yeah.
Crazy.
Beast.
How old are you now?
30 next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
What
And
do we-
Pat, you're having a 30th birthday as well. Are you
Yeah,
guys combining?
What are we doing? What are we
Let's
doing?
have a shenanigan.
Here at the ranch?
You know I'd host you in a second. Been trying to get you over here for a while.
I know, dude.
Came through late night one night. Just
One night,
stopped by.
just in the area,
just paying
saying
your
what's up.
respects, really, more than
Dude,
anything.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
It is. Out in the Palisades?
Yeah, I live west, super west.
Yeah, you're out there.
But it's a pretty drive.
It is.
guess
You're PCH living right now.
PCH living.
Now, when you look at your career now and where you are, we'll slow down and go back to some shit from growing up.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
where do you rank? I mean, when you look at football and in the role it plays in your life, you know what I mean? Like, how attached are you to the game still? And like, when you look at it now from an objective standpoint, do you want to play for another 5-6 years?
Yeah,
you do?
for sure. Yeah.
Fire.
So I've always wanted to do at least 10. You know, that's kind of just a personal goal. But I had a few years ago, I had a bad injury that like derailed me kind of from
What was it?
I had an accident in the Bahamas. That's what I was saying. I got to be careful. I stay away from basketball courts. I was snorkeling. I don't know if is this I could tell this story now, right? Yeah.
I mean, either way, no matter what, let's talk about whatever, and then you guys could be like, cut this out, whatever.
Well, I dodged media about it forever, but It's whatever at this point. Fuck it. I was snorkeling in the Bahamas, like it's totally harmless. We were conch diving, and conch shells it was like 9 a.m. We're on a boat with the captain. He's gonna cook the food. So down swimming up from the bottom of the ocean with conch shells in my hand, I dropped one, and as it was going down, I kicked it, and it just sliced me open. So thought it was just a cut. Go to this. We're in like north of Eleuthera, like middle kind of nowhere island.
Where about?
In the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Yeah. So their clinic was a trailer, which you had to call a number on for a nurse to come. So she comes and she stitches me up like no big deal. So I go wake up the next day and it's like
This is off season, obviously.
Yeah, this was right before fucking camp, dude. This was right after my best season, right after I got my big contract. Like everything was going. I had an awesome off season. Like I was ready to go back and like have an unreal 2017. Boom. So anyways, ends up being really serious ligament damage. I have to get fucking surgery. I missed half the season. Yeah, missed half the fucking season off from it.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I came
I
back.
want to say this is after the season after I had met you originally. So what year was this?
Yeah, this was, I think I met you right around 2016 season. And this is right after that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you missed half a year off that.
Missed half the year and came back and wasn't, it's like I missed so much time. Then I was right at the game and it's just hard to replicate. So I sucked that whole year. And then really, I haven't until this past season. It's like been a steady climb to try to get back. So like to answer your long story short, I'm like feel like I'm just getting started again. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great feeling.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just now starting to come back to where I was.
It's a great feeling to have. I mean, and it's also, like you said, a position that could go. You could play for another decade.
Right.
You know
just
what I mean?
gotta stay fucking healthy.
Stay nice and limber.
Yeah. Right.
You mentioned when you started working out and lifting, your form, your kicking form kind of went to shit just based off your body being stiff and tight and not as limber.
Well, that's specifically was just because I didn't never lift, so I was just sore as hell.
Yeah,
but no, I don't
lift. I see your workouts now. You do like
I do like bands, a lot of resistance, like training.
But your main focus is staying on the limber side.
Yeah, leg speed typically emphasize over strength. Think of like a rubber band. Like if you have a super loose rubber band,
right,
it's not gonna shoot very far. But if you have like a tight one, it's gonna like whip faster. Yeah, it's kind of I think of my.
Honestly, bro, that's when you say rubber band, it's exactly how I felt about my arm. Before the injury, I had an elastic arm. It was just like I kind of threw unorthodox, and just I was from Rhode Island, so I wasn't nationally or super highly touted. Started throwing hard right towards the end, signed with Duke, and then balled that freshman year. And didn't really even throw super smooth pitchers. I was super aggressive, but my arm was very elastic, and the ball would move all over the place, And then once I had the surgery, I remember when I had the surgery, I wasn't even down. I wasn't even worried because, freshman year, for baseball in college, if you could get drafted right after freshman year, I would have went. But after you engage in college baseball, you have to play 3 seasons. Right. So sophomore year was a wash anyway. It didn't really matter. It's about junior year. You know what I mean? The draft year. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to come back throwing harder. Some guys do with Tommy John. Right. You hear a lot of stories about it.
Because they rehab so much.
Yeah, and I always felt like I was very athletic for a pitcher. Pitchers aren't always highly athletic. You know what I mean? They just throw hard type shit. So I was like, I feel like I should even be throwing harder, I wasn't terribly a hard thrower. I just had a few great off-speed pitches and things. And but dude, my elasticity, I trained, when we talk about don't try, I was trying so hard, trying to perfect my, you have so much downtime. So I'm in the mirror, they're doing fucking mirror drills with I used to get up on the mound and just fucking throw it.
Right, dude.
And throw it by people, didn't even worry about it. You know what I mean? Just whatever, competed. Yeah. Where I had this free time, first time I'd ever been injured, and it was a long injury, so it's 12 to 16 months. So, it's one of those things where I was like, cool, I had all this free time. I'm going to perfect my mechanics. I'm doing every rehab. I'm just very optimistic. Yeah, but bro, the arm never had the elasticity again. And I almost feel like the downtime of the injury, I had never dealt with downtime where I'm just kind of thinking and watching everyone else play. Dude. You know what I mean? And I kind of wanted to get into this with you. You touched on it, you still feel like you're climbing back from that injury. Dude, I can, as I look, as I've gone through my mental growth, and just working on myself and diving into mentality a lot more. I was pretty just tough nose kid just from how I was raised and shit. But my I was mentally strong, could challenge people and stuff. But I feel like I lost that in that time where I, was sitting around and just thinking about when I get back, and it was an interesting thing. But as I look back, I wonder how much of my failed recovery was mental. I do, because I remember getting very confused once it wasn't coming out, I was throwing 85 versus and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And I couldn't figure out why. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm in the mirror practicing. I'm like, this shit is totally different. That's
exactly how I diagnosed my situation. By not this season, one before, the year after I came back from that injury, I had the best, I was in super shape. I was everything was going just accordingly. I was ready for the season. I still had a disappointing season for my standards. And then this year, I went in this year where okay, I need to stop trying to fucking punt. Just go punt. Just do some of my best punts, I'm just catching it and kicking
let it fly.
It's the preparation.
Don't try.
Yeah, don't try. That's what you do the preparations for, right? So it's so you don't, your
you
body
do the work
just
so
acts.
You go out and get in flow.
Yeah. So I finally figured that out. It took me a little bit of time and I just, so I'm excited about.
So how far are you removed from that injury now?
That was 2017. So
about 2.5 seasons
yeah,
since then, really.
Yeah,
Two full seasons.
Yeah, 2 full seasons. Yeah.
It's interesting, man. It's an interesting thing because it's like, I've got, as I talked about a little bit with the mind, like I wonder, I remember thinking, getting very wrapped up in the mental side of it and like, what I mean? We're very befuddled, kind of confused where I never was before. Now, do you feel like when you went out there, you were just kind of more mentally like overthinking the actual
like
process?
my steps are long.
Yeah.
Get your drop up.
Same
shit like
happened
that.
to me.
I'm like,
same thing.
And then you're
looking at
thinking,
where my foot landed on the mound, like,
yeah,
I never used to think about any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
such a huge part of it, dude.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to anything technical, like,
right.
Like that punting, as far as football goes, is one of the more technical like positions.
Right.
So it's like majority of it, there's tons of guys who have fast, strong legs. A lot of it is just, is in your head.
Right.
Figuring that out.
Right. Now, I mean, Detroit's been living there for 7 years. We had ourselves a few good nights out there.
A couple good nights.
The fuck's the name of that place?
And Atlanta.
Yes, Atlanta.
And Scottsdale.
Shout out Big Sky.
Shout out Big Sky.
Shout out Big Sky.
Rosenberg's going to love that.
Man, had us a time.
Great time at Big Sky. You know who else I took to Big Sky? McAfee.
Big McAfee's a Big Sky guy.
He liked it. I'm
gonna make that shirt, Big Sky guy.
I'm pretty.
I'll make it for us.
Perfect.
Make it for us.
I'm pretty sure he shouted Big Sky out on his podcast.
What a time!
Yeah.
There's a special little twinkle in the air out there in Atlanta. What is that? What is that area called? Buckhead.
Yeah.
Special little magic fairy dust in there.
Tell you what.
A bunch of things running around, all different flavors, shapes, and sizes.
I tell you what, Buckhead's a special place.
Yeah, it is.
It's a special place.
I mean, it gets me going when I just think about it. I've been to so many we live in LA, and everyone's like, man, what's it like? Oh, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, crazy shit happens. And like shit that you used to think was cool, like, hell, we ended up at Drake's house and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to have a ratchet ass time, have a great time, end up with a few things, see where it goes. You know what I mean? Where what I'm saying is like bar scene, bop around the bars, don't have a huge plan, don't need a table. We're not going to stand around a crowd table and look at everyone else like, you guys having fun? Are we having fun?
Right.
Me, you, him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a club guy really. No. Like, I'll go if I'm in a ratchet ass mood, I'll go and we'll go ham.
Yeah,
but
sometimes it's
very limited. You know what I mean? Where I don't find myself like itching to go to a club really much, and that's really the main vibe here. You could go down to the water. It's partially our fault because we don't go down to the water, like down to the west.
You got to get
like,
over there more.
That's more up my alley for sure.
Yeah.
But, with my ex and, Josie and like that whole group we just merged friendship and, that like she grew up in the LA nightlife shit. So like I got very plugged into that and just all of it, they'd end up coming over here. So we're super tight. So it's one of those things where a lot of our friends live in that who's who, like, there'll be people here with fucking 50 million followers and I don't even know. You know what I mean? It's like, this is where everyone is.
Right.
But I don't give a fuck about any of that. No. You know what I mean? And no shade to any of them. We have a blast. And most people, honestly, the reason we call this crib the ranch, like people come here, it's the only place that's not like an LA vibe. Come play, the door's open.
It's a ranch.
We're being
in the
friendly.
Middle of LA.
Like no one's like, you know what I mean? And we're playing a beer pong and trying to get as drunk as we possibly can.
So that's the story. That's the story behind the ranch.
Yeah, because we act like farm animals here, man. It's the funny thing is, it's nothing like a ranch. It's like a modern
it's not. It's a beautiful, nice house.
It's a modern
Don't let the name fool you.
Man, I would love it to be a ranch. I love modern vibe, but like, hopefully I end up on a ranch someday.
A legit
somewhere.
ranch.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know how, do we know where the ranch, we just started calling it Stevenson Ranch. I don't know.
It makes sense.
And
yeah, we didn't even know. So obviously the Steve thing, we called one Steve. And we didn't even know. I think we were just fucked up here one night. We're like, Stevenson Ranch. And we started calling it Stevenson Ranch. And then we realized very quickly that there's a town like an hour from here called Stevenson Ranch. I actually had a guy on the podcast from there, a baseball player. But he's like, yeah, everyone thinks you live out there.
Wait, did you have him out here just because he's from there?
It was actually the kid Hunter Green I told you about, LeBron of baseball, super talented dude. Had no idea. I'm literally wearing a Stevenson Ranch shirt. He's like, dude, I grew up in Stevenson Ranch.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's pretty. This house has become fairly legendary, just because of like posts and the friends I have.
Dude, this house
it runs late,
legendary,
as you've seen.
Yes.
Before you get the fuck out of here, we gotta have us a night. It's the off season.
Oh, that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. You need to come out.
I know.
My way.
Your crib's a vibe. You sent me
Cool
some
vibe,
pictures
dude.
and shit.
It's great, man. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I gotta come out and catch a little peaceful vibe out there.
You need to, bro. I see you're on those vibes lately.
I wanted to get into this a little bit with you. Being, growing up in Florida, I really have no idea. I'll take a Bud Latte. Thank you, sir. Everyone give it up for Danny Amendola.
Bud lattes.
Danny's coming on right next.
Thank you, sir.
These guys are really, these Detroit Lions are really a team. They come over to my first team.
We do everything
my
together.
first team arrival podcast. I love that. And they're down to wait it out and do it one-on-one. I love it.
All about it.
I wanted to get into this a little bit. I can't tell me a little bit about your upbringing, but growing up in Rhode Island, just speaking from my experience, it's very East Coast, and we're not down in Florida by the water, you know what I mean? But it was very East Coast, like rough, in the sense of like, don't be a pussy, you know what I mean? And
Right.
like, we play sports, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And everything is about your environment and your programming and what's normal and what's deemed cool and acceptable and shit. But I remember you fought if someone said shit to you. Mm-hmm. You try to kick everyone's ass in every sport, try to be the best, you know what I mean? There wasn't really an artistic side. My parents are very open-minded people, and for people who never left Rhode Island till they were like in their 30s or 40s, it's fucking nuts to think about.
Yeah.
So it's actually incredible how open-minded and cultured they are given those circumstances, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But coming out here and just like this wave we've been talking about, and just introducing spirituality or just seeing things, looking at things from a wider perspective. Like my whole life, I was tunnel vision. I'm going to make it to the big leagues. Oh yeah, I'm going to be the first. Like I was from Rhode Island, and it's pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny place. Not even a baseball climate really. So it's rare.
Yeah.
But I always had this huge chip on my shoulder. Tunnel vision, bro. My whole family revolved around, let's get Mike to practice, and you know what I mean.
All
like,
about baseball.
I would crush it in school. Like I'm definitely. I wasn't a great student in the sense of like, I love learning and sign me up for the fucking extracurriculars. You know what I mean? I was just like, I knew, it was whatever reason, I knew I had to compete on the academic side because one, baseball isn't a huge money scholarship sport.
Right.
So I ended up getting a full scholarship, but it was half athletic, which is really a full baseball scholarship. They only offered halves. And then still, for me, my parents to pay $30K, like, I would have been fucked. You know what I mean?
And Duke.
So
Duke.
I got into the fucking. Luckily, I'm great. I was a good tester and did probably overachieved academically. But my point is, I had this tunnel vision goal thing where I was just like, I wasn't really looking at life on a bigger scale at all. I wasn't even, and that comes with age too. Like that comes with experience and age. So it's obviously like, like every kid isn't thinking how they're thinking when they're, 30.
Right.
So, but my question to you is like, when you look back at your upbringing, you was obviously broken out of your town and went on to travel, and play a professional sport. So it's obviously like you made it out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where a place people probably don't often make it out and go on to do bigger things. At least definitely for Rhode Island, but small town Florida.
Small town. It's similar to smaller town school in Atlanta where I grew up. So like high school and stuff.
Oh yeah, born in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they, one other girl, Kelly O'Hara, she's national soccer team player, and she made it out, and
Right.
she's a beast. She's
a
badass,
beast.
Yeah. But no, I mean my little town I'm from, and Pat's from also, is
What town is it?
Peachtree City, Georgia. It's a cool ass little town to grow up. So anywhere you can take a car, you can take a golf cart. There's golf cart paths.
That's the hardest shit ever. So it's
Yeah.
like a tiny place.
So like before you have your license, we're whipping around golf carts.
it's a tiny place.
Yeah, it's pretty small in relative sense. Yeah, but so there's definitely an element of that to it. I don't really know. Like I grew up with two sisters, so I was the youngest, and I had two older sisters, so it wasn't as much of. If anything, I was getting beat up by chicks rather than me beating up.
Oh, they were
Yeah.
tough?
Yeah, no, they weren't tough, but we're just aged up. We're aged enough to where
Yeah.
So I think that probably had a lot to do with whatever I am now and what
Yeah.
I'm about now. And I think my sisters played like a huge role in that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I had a sister. That's all I had. But I mean, my dad was very much my sports guy. You know what I mean? Like coach the team, would help coach the teams and practice. And
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Now, were your parents the same? Were they?
No, my dad was a big sports nut, and so we were a soccer family, but he never coached. But he was like
Yeah.
that guy.
Did he
like,
play?
Yeah, he played soccer and baseball actually growing up. Yeah, but never like pros or anything.
And what was mom like? What is mom like?
Mom's was the caretaker. Yeah,
Same.
yeah,
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She still doesn't. I don't think she knows what like offsides in football is still, but she's at all the games. You know, like,
Yeah.
that kind of mom.
They come out to the games in Detroit?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, they come.
They don't miss them? It's fucking
They
adorable.
come to every home games and then
My parents would be are the same.
yeah, and then a couple away games they'll hit also.
Now, just getting into like ideology wise now, as you've gotten older, you still live in a bubble-esque lifestyle. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
Like you think about, like I talk about this with athletes
We were
all
just
the time.
talking about this.
Yeah, and we'll get into it. But like, do you feel that bubble bursting with your experience and like you're kind of wanting to look around and expand more in the sense of like how you're seeing things, or are you just still, tunnel vision?
No.
I mean, obviously you have to be able to play at the level you guys play at.
No,
professional.
I know what you're asking. And me and Pat were just talking about this. Like, why all of a sudden, like sometimes you just have you wake up and you're just like not in that mood, or
Right.
like you're always worrying about shit or anxiety or whatever. It's like, why the hell all of a sudden, like 5 years ago, we were totally carefree, didn't give a shit about anything. Like, and it's obviously with age you have responsibilities, but like, why when you were younger did you could cope, you could deal with it without consciously dealing with it, and now you get older,
That's a good question.
you get more wisdom, you think you'd be able to handle shit easier, but it's like seems like more and more.
There's a term, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
That like applies in the sense of like you just said, once you start figuring shit out and maybe learning how much more there is to life and start thinking about life on a bigger scale outside of winners practice and got to punt this 50 yards, you know what I mean? Where you start looking around and you're like, shit, you know what I mean? Where when you're a kid, or not even a kid, but younger and just going into adulthood, you still kind of like rocking and rolling in that little bubble. Like everything's still so fresh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But you're in 7 years in this routine.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Started like, what else, you know, what else is
Yeah.
there? And that was like a handful of books that we've both read, like The Power of Now. That was the first one that like I first like I'm gonna explore a little bit. My grandma's super spiritual lady, like she sent me the 4 Agreements and all that stuff. But it's like 5 years ago I didn't need to read The Power of Now. Like
Right.
so what? Like it's
see, that's
like,
interesting you say that though. That's very interesting you say that, because I felt that same way when I started getting into it. I was like, oh, I'm being a bitch. I gotta fucking read this to like think clearly and
Sure.
like, and be happy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like I got, like when I first got into it, there was a gut programmed
like there's something wrong with you.
denial. Like, yeah, there was like a programmed like, oh, that's why you gotta do that, bro. That's whack. Like you're don't be soft. You know what I mean? Like that, I was programmed in that sense. You know, coming from an athlete background, it's like you just, like you said, you never really find yourself feeling like you need to do any of that. You've achieved a dream,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's something to be said though when you achieve a dream that not many people get to. You know, like there's a very small percentage of people that like, I had a dream and I went and achieved it.
Right.
To the 10th degree. And you probably feel like you have a lot more to do, but think about it. Think
But-
about the percentage of people that, you know, want to play in the fucking professional sport.
And you had the tunnel vision on. It's like all you know. It's all you're working towards and like thinking about.
Right. But there's something to be said about that realization when you, seriously, when you're like, oh, fuck, I got everything, or not, maybe not everything, but like,
Right, I get it.
wow, like I got everything I wanted. And that was part of it for me. I got everything I wanted, and I still would have these days and these funks and these waking up in bad moods, and, you know, life happens.
Right.
But you realize, like, that was part of it for me. There's a pain, you know, you feel the pain of like, oh, wait, this doesn't fill up the hole I have. Like, you know, like being a human being, there's just suffering that happens no matter what. There's pain that will come and will go, you know, there's a yin and yang, and I believe in that so much. But you really like, dude, you know, it's hard for people. They're like, dude, how are you in a bad mood, bro? You make millions of dollars to play a game. Or like, you know,
Yeah.
like these people, because
Yeah.
they haven't ever had written down a dream and then went and did it. You know what I mean? And there's that, it's kind of scary. It's or rattling was rattling for me when I was waking up in a house I dreamed of and had everything going the way, like I never would have thought any of this would happen. And I'm looking myself in the mirror and just not really like ashamed that I wasn't in a good mood and I was feeling down. And the old me would have been like, dude, slap the shit out of me, like wake up, bro. You know? So it's one of those things where like it's a rattling perspective thing, and that's kind of what pushed me in the direction of like going into it. I didn't have anyone in my family very spiritual. Religion was never an element to our family, but like very loving family, but never really thought about like life or like existence or any of that shit.
Purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like the hardships and kind of what I always talk about, our podcasts always land here, but it's like the hardships of life are kind of like the most beautiful points of growth. You know what I mean? And where I felt like I got pushed down this direction was when the first time I experienced anxiety. First time I experienced, sadness for extended periods of time, was going through up and down relationship. And obviously we talked about it. We can get into it a little bit, but like the first time where, I was actually going through like months of being in a funk. Never had happened. Always super happy kid. And I was like slightly ashamed. Like, how the hell did you, all this like good stuff going on and this is when you get sad? Like, it was one of those things where, it really was like,
it's
perspective
just
shifting.
I was just gonna say, like, that's like the first thing that I think of when I think about this is like perspective. Like, how are you going to look at it?
Right.
Like, and it's easier said than done. Like you can tell yourself you're looking at something one way a million times, but are you really? You know, like, so I think perspective is definitely like the first.
Now, where are you now as far as headspace? I kind of missed this. I ranted, but your initial point about like, oh man, 4 years ago, I didn't need to read this to feel good.
Right.
And there was that kickback, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was one of
yes. To your question is, I feel I'm figuring it out.
Right.
Attempting.
Right.
It's addressed.
But think about it, right? Like my perspective changed on it because I felt that, and then as I looked into it more, and I would listen to people, podcasts or things, or study some of the teachers. It's like, dude, the mind is everything. Like you cater to your fucking body exactly the way you need to cater to your body to do what you need to do, right? So you're a kicker. So everything you do is to make sure that you can continue kicking at the highest level. How is it frowned upon or even shunned off to train this?
Right.
It's everything.
And that's why it's like, even if you're not quote unquote searching,
right?
It's like, why not educate? Like, just learn.
But it would happen to me, and I would stop. I would feel myself like, once I started the whole idea of like meditation, right? It's a practice, right? So it's like you sucked for years, when you first started as a punter because you hadn't practiced much at all.
Yeah.
Then you started practicing, got better and better and better, had better and better results. So with meditation, it sucks, and most people quit because they're like,
I've quitted more. I've started and quitted more.
So
than
have I.
Yeah.
But my point is, I just had someone articulate it, and I was like, oh fuck, this makes perfect sense. Once you just dedicate to the practice, all of a sudden, like you actually, you wake up and you're like 4 months later of doing it, and like you're actually doing it at a high level, and then your life is coinciding, and it's affirming that this is working.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now, like, I write down every day. I have a daily checklist, and like the old me would have been like, "You're a dork." You know what I mean? The old me would have made fun, like, "You're a pussy. What do you got to write down?" You know what I mean? But I do it, and still, to your point, when things are going great, sometimes I taper off. I'm in such a good mood. I'm flying fucking high, doing whatever. Then it starts to come back, and then once I've gone, that's happened enough to where I just been like, "Nah, do it every day." And that's where I've been able, like, my mood's changed tenfold. Because I was always a nice guy, and friendly and shit, but, like, just so many things about my personality as I look back, like, it was just
some shit
rough
like irks
around
you, kind of
rough around the edges and like egomaniacal. Even if I wasn't like being an asshole, outwardly, like even the way I would hear someone saying something, I'd have like an egomaniacal way of like deciphering it.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean?
No
But
doubt.
like where it hit for me was like when I started just actually just dedicating to the practice. And like, bro, every guy I come in here, I try to bully the athletes into meditating that don't. Because like you feel like this, like, I'm telling you, bro.
I know. I've yet to get to that point.
Yeah.
I'm
going to start bullying you and like texting you and being like, you got to meditate today, right now.
a lot of dudes do it though. Sam, meditation time now.
Take
don't
a
care where
video
you're
and
at.
fucking send it to me after you're done.
But the way you put it like that though, like, and like as athletes, if you put it as almost like, okay, I need to get better at this. I want to be good at this. Like I'm going to practice.
Yeah.
And like in that perspective, it makes it easier.
That's why I put it like that to athletes, because that's how it got through to me.
Yeah. And
Of course you suck at it. You never do it.
And then I'm like,
You know what I mean?
I
But
got all
like,
this free time.
I was just
In the
gonna,
off season, I'm
this is
fortunate
literally
enough.
what I was gonna get to.
Why would I not work on that
Your-
shit?
And like your position.
Yeah.
Like you got a lot of downtime. You know what I mean? Like how many times you're gonna fucking kick it? You know, like there's
It's like pitching. It's
and like you said, you know, there's so much mental to like the waiting around and the technicality of your position. Like there's just like when you were saying it, I was thinking like, man, I wonder if he meditates, because like I think it will help you a lot. And like really like there's multiple forms of it, but like you could start with an app and it just all you do is like start introducing your mind to like shutting down.
I think I've been paying for an app for like 6 months now.
I've been there.
I haven't signed up.
I've been there. Yes.
Yeah.
So you've tried a few different times to meditate.
Yeah, but never. I haven't really put 100% into it yet.
Right.
But I'm gonna. I want to get good at it though.
I'm gonna
Like,
challenge
I'm
you.
gonna commit to it.
I'm gonna challenge
Do
you.
it. Actually, for real, hold me to it.
Yeah.
Because I'll just quit
We gotta
again.
figure out a way.
Yeah, dude.
We gotta figure out a way.
Tell you what.
Where are we on time, Kilmer?
57 minutes.
Oh fuck, we're flying. Let's take a pee break and then we'll do another like 15 minutes.
Cool.
We're talking about a lot of kicking balls, but we're getting right into our spot. Take a pee break.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
Well, if you're bored in the house and you're in the house bored, why not play with your balls? I think we're all running out of stuff to play with. Our sponsor today is Manscaped, and it's here to make sure your balls are smooth while you or your partner are playing with them. Now, Manscaped promotes clean hygiene when it comes to shaving your balls, thanks to this beautiful product, the Lawnmower 3.0. I can say from experience, this thing is a dandy. They used to call me old Johnny Cotton Balls. I used to have a lot of hair down there, come out with some nicks. I've been scotch-free ever since crossing over to the Manscaped Lawnmower. Look, quarantine's a challenging time, but there's also a lot of free time, so go ahead and get your hygiene in order, and your partner will really appreciate a clean playing area. Look, you get 20% off with free shipping using the code YNK at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using our code YNK. Make playing with your balls the best part of your day and use Manscaped. You never know. Have you seen any of this Astros shit, the cheating shit in baseball?
I've obviously seen like the headlines, but I'm not educated.
Pretty
on
wild.
it.
Pretty wild.
Tell me what you think about it.
It's horseshit. It's the worst cheating scandal in the history of sports.
So let me ask you, why? Because spring training just started, so it's getting talked about again.
No,
all
it
of a
just
sudden?
just broke. This whole investigation is unfolding now, and they gave some half-ass punishment today. Like I got a bunch of homies in the league, obviously. I had a few friends on that team.
They're finishing it with the investigation on the players because they already reprimanded the team and everything, right?
I think the players are getting off pretty easy, man. It's some fucked up shit. It's a slippery slope though, because you're not able to prove exactly who knew who was doing it.
Sure.
You know, like they're able to claim like it was organizationally, put into place. Like there's just very interesting thing that like it's never been seen. But like, dude, Pete Rose is banned from going inside a stadium. He's one of the best players of all time because he gambled on himself winning.
Right.
There was never one. They never found one thing where he threw a game. He was just gambling. Yeah, we're gonna win, and that's that's against the rules. Whatever. But like, bro, I don't even know how to compare it to football.
See,
it'd be like if you like. I get that there's I get that the Patriot like there's been things like with film and like like it could be Bush League or whatever, but like knowing what pitch is coming, it'd be like you could grab a great college baseball player, good college hitter, good high level,
Right.
put him in the big leagues, which is a whole other bracket, and he could hit guys if he knew it was
I
coming.
mean, it makes sense. It sounds like it would be. Like,
It's like big time rip off. Like it's one thing to like, and sign stealing is part of the game, but like using technology to do it and like, dude, it's fucked up. And they went on and won. They won.
They won it.
Like motherfucker, like bro, motherfuckers
So
made $100 million
not stripping them-
because of
stripping them of that,
these
though.
years.
They keeping the trophy.
They're not vacating it. And like this fucking idiot commissioner was like, oh yeah, it's a piece of metal, Like he referenced the fucking trophy as a piece of metal.
That's a PR nightmare.
It's like, bro, this is what everyone in the league, they poured everything they have in their lives to this goal.
Yeah, dude.
He called it a piece of metal.
It's crazy.
It's in shambles. The baseball thing is in shambles. Like the players, all the best
I
players,
saw players are pissed.
speaking out.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Tom Brady was like, fuck this shit. This shit is whack. They should be, you know what I mean? Like the biggest guys in the sport are like naysaying the commissioner, completely naysaying the whole, how they handled it and what the punishments are. It's fucked up.
It's nuts.
It's fucked up.
Nuts. Integrity of the game.
Integrity of the game, for
Yeah.
sure. It's just like when I like asking athletes in general, I don't even know how to. Football is one of those things. What are ways of cheating in football? Really? Like, obviously, you
Shit.
can film, like, I get you can fucking try to film the practice or figure out what plays they're going to run.
I couldn't tell you.
I mean,
really.
I guess it's similar to like knowing exactly what every play they're going to run, but I
or
don't
it
think
would just be
is
steroids.
that even possible?
I think this like PEDs.
Steroids, yeah.
It's like, but that's in any sport.
Are guys really not juicing in the NFL? Those guys are all natural.
Dude, you're asking a punter. The hell?
Yeah.
I know. I'm pretty sure there's no specialist juice in the league. I don't know. I've never obviously seen it or been around it or
It's
heard
just
of it.
the football guys are a different fucking breed, man.
I know, but I think that's why they're NFL players.
I'm literally got like I found out I have like some cracks in my vertebrae. I've had back pain.
Yeah, I still do since Cameron Hayward decleated me in 2013.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
But dude, I never played football, and I just I pitched. Like I said, I was very like jumpy off the mound, and they were saying like the action, like throwing and reaching out, it's like stressful for your vertebrae, whatever. But I'm like fucking playing beer pong and sitting in front of the computer for 10 hours, and I can barely get out of bed some days.
Maybe
I don't
that's
get
why.
how these NFL
Maybe that's why.
this guy especially, man.
No,
Fuck.
that doesn't
We'll
make
talk
it. It
about-
doesn't make
that
any.
guy's not even human.
Doesn't
over
make
there.
any sense what he does.
A lot of fast twitch muscle fiber over there.
I don't get it.
A lot of torque. I'm sorry for kicking your ass in beer pong. I mean, not beer pong, ping pong.
You haven't kicked my ass in beer pong.
I will if you want to hang
I don't
around.
think you have though.
Yeah. It's just like
Is that
you
up
see
for grabs?
You see that belt
What?
right there? They don't
What?
give that to just anybody. Actually, they do. We made it.
We can make another.
There's a reason it's still here. Let's say that. I
Well-
got people come and challenge me all the time.
All right.
Let's put it this way. Are you a beer pong guy? You like it? You enjoy it?
Yeah. I
Can
played a lot of it in college.
You know how I challenge you to meditate? I'm going to challenge you to start sprinkling some beer pong. Now, you're a grown ass man.
Got a ping pong table.
Yeah, you're a grown ass man. Like you guys party. You pick your spots in the season. You have nights where you throw back some beers with the guys, right? Correct.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's one of those things where it's very
Casual.
It's physically taxing sport, and
Yeah,
drinking
yeah.
and partying is fucking horseshit for it.
Right.
But you have your off day after the game, or you have your fucking bye week. Don't you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm gonna challenge you to play a little beer pong, and here's why. Post is really the reason we got super into beer pong. Now I play more beer pong than I ever played, like college combined.
I
anything.
feel like you're playing hella beer pong.
A lot
right
of
now.
beer pong. But what I will say about the game is I've played a lot of sports. Like I played basketball, baseball. It's not a lot, it's two. But I played sports my whole fucking life.
Ton of sports.
But what I mean by a lot of sports is like when I wasn't playing basketball, I was playing baseball.
Right. Of course.
The only
know
time I
you mean.
wasn't was sleeping or at school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Now you got back pain from too much beer pong.
just
Yeah.
my vertebrae.
That'll do it.
And carrying the team on my back as much as Post is a good beer pong player. He's gonna hate if he ever sees this.
But you're
Good beer pong player. No. Let me put it this way. He's even if it's intangibles. So let me explain. The tangibles, like you can measure, like he hits 5-6 cups every game. Intangibles are like people get rattled when they play against Post.
Of course. So
he's like Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? He's like the coolest motherfucker ever, and he's like very mystical. Like he's a mystical creature. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what the hell he's gonna do next or say or what he's thinking. Like
it's a sneaky partner.
Yeah, sneaky. Yeah. So like, my whole point is, I'm probably a little better than him tangibly, but what I'm saying is like, beer pong is the most humbling. There's a humbling element to it, and I can't speak. There's probably some guys out there, I see viral videos where they hit like 20 in a row, and I'm like, I couldn't do that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like, there's some nights the ball just goes in every goddamn time, and I'm like, of course it's going in. I'm the greatest ever, one of the greatest to ever do it.
I can't wait till we play.
But
I can't wait till we play now.
Yeah, but like then, dude, there's nights. The same night I was playing with Johnny Manziel the other night. He was carrying me, and I had a bad little bitch right here, and I was trying my best. I mean, I got after it early, so
you didn't talk yourself up.
Well, I mean, bro, it's like a running joke. Like everyone comes here to play beer pong
just to beat you.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like the vibe. We're never not playing beer pong when people come over. We're not all like standing around. Like there's always someone. All right, let's play BP. You know what I mean? It's just part of it. It's like the ambiance.
Yeah, it's like
it's
just normal.
There's something about hearing the balls ricochet and a little banter in the background and just get.
If you don't hear it, that's something's wrong. You're like, what the fuck?
You're just not like it's one of those subtle like, it feels good to be here again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just balls going in, people drinking, little laughs. Anyways, what I'm saying is like, I have nights where I'm just fucking trapped. Like he was carrying me for 3 in a row, and I was trying. Don't try. I was trying so hard.
That's
I had
a problem,
a bad little ting
dude.
right there. She had me worked up. She had a little dress on. I was horseshit. Like I was one of the worst. Like if you watch those 3 games, she probably walked away and like, be like, guy's not good at beer pong.
Like I heard about this legend,
and then she left.
He let me down.
It was probably her, and I texted her after, and I was like, "You can't come over here and turn me on while I'm playing." I was rattled.
You want to get banned from here quickly? You fuck up your beer pong.
Yeah, no, she's not getting banned no matter what she does. But man, as soon as she left, it's bad. I was carrying Johnny. You know what I mean?
You're back.
Yeah. But like it's like one of those things where multiple times it's happened, so it makes you respect the game,
right?
Because like if you're too high on your britches, it's like a life lesson beer pong, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely play. Have we never played?
We've never played.
That's horseshit.
Unless we did in Atlanta, on like
on
the counter or something.
Atlanta, what a good time!
What a vibe!
What a fucking time! Big Sky, baby.
Shout out Big Sky.
So we talked out there, and it was talking about like when you have a girlfriend. And you're actually playing a sport.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's not a fucking. You're not in the savage mode, like as a punter. It's not like Danny has to deal with where it's like ready to rock,
abuse.
like ready for fucking hard. You know what I mean? Hard hits,
no.
Full explode. You know what I mean? That type of vibe. And we talked about it. And there's an element to it. I had one girlfriend before Josie. I had one girlfriend at Duke. And it had nothing to do with my injury, obviously. The injury birthed the opportunity where I like looked around and kind of settled with a girlfriend. But we talked about a domesticated house cat where it's like you kind of, and I think athletes, I've had a few athletes on and touched on a little bit, but there's elements to a domesticated lifestyle, especially when you're coming out of just being a fucking single bachelor athletic guy who obviously, girls are into, and you're traveling and you have that. There's a certain little savagery that comes in, you know what I mean, that comes with it, where when you went into a relationship and beyond, like actually, competing and playing, what do you feel like do you feel like that was an actual challenge, or was it something, do you feel that as even a punter, where you were like?
No, I think you can, well, yeah, it's definitely different. Let me start with that. Being a punter.
Yeah,
it's definitely,
it's not.
It's little, yeah, I mean, it's a very like unique situation, like niche there. So, Danny,
could be helpful, like to be calm and like.
Yeah, so it's like, I think what like other actual football players are enduring is like this. They're studying a lot. They're facing a playbook.
She needs that. Like it's one of those things where they need to understand that there's so much that goes into. There's so much time and bro. And again, not as a punter as much, but so much time goes into like the preparation for your body, your mind, preparation for games.
It's like a constant grind. The profession is as it is. Like,
it is.
Like, a lot of jobs are.
Traveling,
traveling and the pressure in general.
Right.
So just like the tension-wise pressure.
Right.
again, not speaking not as a punter, but
Right.
a real football player.
I feel you.
But yeah, I think you could look at it either way. It's like you need to just kind of let it go, let it fly, or the complete opposite.
It's like anything else we've been talking about, though. You go with your instinct on it.
Yeah,
you go with your
no
instinct on it.
doubt.
I mean, bro, I came out fucking couldn't have been more revved up to. I was like fucking in LA,
You're on fire.
Just moved to LA, like, oh, we're gonna fucking run it up, you know. Bump into my girlfriend one of the 4 or 5 months in being in LA. That was it.
Game over.
There was no calculation to it,
No.
obviously, but it's just like an instinct thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, probably not as applicable as a punter. It probably felt like you were pretty poised and relaxed half the time, and it probably played into it.
It's just it's like compared to a pitcher earlier. It's like I kick on this day. I don't. I kind of just chill for a while.
A starting pitcher. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly. So now, I guess we're going into your 8th year. You want to play for a little bit longer. Where do you feel like? I mean, I know you say you want to stay in Detroit, but are there times where, or I guess when you look at the next chapter of your life, are you looking at things on a bigger scale as far as like, have you even, I ask athletes this all the time, and it's pretty all over the place. Like some guys are like, yeah, I'm already thinking, and some guys are like, not at all. You know what I mean? Where like, this is when you're doing something at a high level,
right,
it requires all of your attention and your passion. And that's, that comes with it, obviously. Yeah. But when you're looking at your life, at least right now, can you articulate where you see or where you want to go?
No, that's like part of like my what I'm working on right now, like what I'm trying to figure out right now. Yeah. So I, for sure, like you said, like 100% while you're playing, it's like, okay, this is a short time in your life. Commit, right? So I'm not out
and
like
you're at the
searching
highest level,
for,
you know what I mean?
I'm not out like searching for job ventures and shit like that. Like, but I am starting like right now, this off season, I'm starting to just like dabble in some other stuff. Like I'm trying to like learn to like shadow some positions at companies. Like, okay, am I into that?
That's
maybe
cool.
I'm not. Like creative director type roles. Like I'm looking into that kind of stuff. Like maybe I'd like something like that. Maybe
that's cool.
Maybe I wouldn't, but I'm just now starting to figure that out.
Right.
But because really it's like, okay, I'm getting old in relative sense. So it's like, I want to capitalize on this now. Are you really
as a punter?
I mean,
kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, 7 years. I mean, sure, punters can play long, but still not, the average isn't like double digits. So, yeah. So I'm just getting up there. So it's like, I want to like capitalize as much as while I'm here doing it, but I'm also a realist and I'm like, okay, I don't want to be on my ass right when I'm done. So I'm just starting to figure out what I like. All I've known is sports pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you feel like that's part of the reason why you've kind of been, is it something where is it something where when those thoughts start to creep in?
Like a purpose type thing, like, I kick balls.
Right.
What else do I got?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like obviously you've been very fucking lucky and you know that. Like
no doubt.
Just to be able to say you went and did this shit,
Yeah, no doubt.
But
let's make that clear. Like I love my shit.
Of course.
But it's like,
no, but this is what I want to, this is what you want to hear. Like there's a relatability to this.
No doubt.
Where like, yes, and athletes in particular are known to like, because their whole existence, like they were always the biggest, the baddest, the best. And like when you are the biggest, the baddest, and the best in your town, it feels like you're the king of the world. And then in your high school, you're the king of the world. And then college, and you know what I mean? And it gets to this point where you're at the highest fucking level, obviously. But like there's one of those things where as athletes, like once that goes, and it's a lot of this shit I read, about spirituality and shit, it's just like there's identifying with external, there's external validations, even for your ego. Like, yeah, I'm an NFL player. Yeah, I made this much money. You know what I mean? Like, all those things. But from there, it's an existential conversation with yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Where does it go next?
Indirectly too, like you're the high of being a professional athlete, like trying to chase that feeling,
right?
Like of hitting up when I hit a punt out of bounds, the 1 yard
cheered
line,
on by fucking thousands of people,
and you're like directly help your team, like it's a feeling. So what, it's that vibe that you're always trying to chase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an adrenaline thing for sure, and we obviously feed off it. I definitely want, like, for sure. Whenever I've had my moments of doubt or just periods of doubt or feeling down, I think that was definitely part of it. Thinking about, oh man, how long will I be an artist for? Like, what would it be like next? And having those thoughts, it's one of those things where it's like, it opens up doors of, even if you're not searching, there's just in the background of like, okay, yes, there is going to be another period. There's a cool quote from somebody like, every new phase of your life requires a new you.
Right.
And it's like, once you like actually buy into that, I saw this, another quote I tweeted, it was just like, the only constant in all of our lives is change. The only constant in the universe is just change. Like there's never going to stay the same, but we all resist it. You know, it's because we're so there's comfort in the comfort zone of it. That's why it's called the comfort zone. But it's one of those things where like once I started kind of looking at it more like
accepting
that, even with my relationship, and that's kind of what I wanted to get into, was just like there's a breakthrough there when you realize like if you can buy into the notion that like no matter where you are in this phase of your life, and no matter what's happening, it's part of your journey.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Dude. It's like a sense of like relief.
Yeah. And then like back to the don't try. It's just like, I'm going to go where this river takes me. I'm not going to fucking try to swim upstream and hold on to a thing and get injured. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go where this thing takes me and try to enjoy that fucking ride, you know? And that's why that's why I even bring the whole thing up, or I bring even just these thoughts of what's next, because like I love to see like most of the guys I know, there's all the athletes, we talked about it out there, there's buttoned up media that comes with it. But I have access to all these friendships, and motherfuckers are layered, dynamic people and cool people. Nothing like kind of they'd be painted out to be, or just that, you know, like when you know, the way athletes are put on a pedestal, there's very human elements to every one of you motherfuckers. Yeah. And that's what I try to bring out of it, you know, the conversation. But it's like, bro.
Well, that makes me think like the fine line between like when you're trying to, like, I'm here trying to think about what's next and planning what's next, but it takes away from what I'm doing right now. So it's like, if you know, don't try to figure that shit out. Like right now, I'm a punter. Right. I'm loving it. Everything's great.
You're exactly right.
Stop thinking about what's next.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's really if you think about what anxiety is.
It is.
I know there's chemical, scientific, there's tons of background stuff that could prove. But what I'm saying is like a lot of what people call anxiety today is just like the culture we live in. You look around, we have access to everybody's lives. Yeah. You can see what everyone's doing at all the time, and you're seeing their best. Yeah. So automatically you're comparing, and then you start thinking like, oh, how do I get to that? What am I going to do? You know, like it's one of those things where it breeds it. But that's getting back to the meditation and shit. Like if you could slow down your thoughts and just like focus on those bigger notions, like exactly what you said. Right. The only thing we have is now. Yeah. And when you're in a great vibe in the now, your future is going to be better. Exactly. I've talked about it a bunch.
It always works that way.
It's just the way it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. So, bro, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you're going to have one, especially because the meditation, we're going to bring this clip back, and when you have an amazing year, but you go as long as you want to go, but you're one of those dudes where like I feel like you're going to do a million things after. It's going to be.
Thanks, bro.
You're
hopefully with you, man.
You're a straight shooter, Steve.
Hopefully with you.
Yeah, and punters are people. We got to make those T-shirts. Punters are people too.
I think there's some out there, but there's something there. Use your creative shit you guys got going on here, and
Pat
figure
probably
some
has some big.
Pat's
punter
got
merch
for the brand, like some really like a lot of merchandise for the brand.
What's it? We'll end on this. What's it like being the punter in the locker room? As far as like, you know, you don't have to fucking engage. Like, there's a little bit of a fraternity within like the defense. The offense, and then the special teams, obviously. Yeah. But it's like you have probably an amazing vantage point because you see all these guys fucking.
And dude, I've made it a point in my kicking or being a specialist career to like, okay, I'm not going to be that kicker that sits in the corner. Like I'm friends with defensive guys. Like, I'm defensive, offensive guys. Yeah. You know, so it's like I really do see all the perspectives. It's pretty funny, actually.
It's fire. And bro, the real guys that go on and do it, and that's what you do, and that's what Danny did. A lot of the guys do that I know. These relationships that you make within the league and within the partnerships and shit that gets funneled to you guys, it's what your next phase. It just happens. And I asked that just because to bring up the thoughts about it in the discussion, but the next phase works itself out if you're being a good fucker in this phase. Right. Where you build all these relationships with these guys and they're going to have companies and things. And you go here and do this and partner there and do all this shit. It's just, it's a network thing. Yeah. But you guys have access to a fucking insane network.
Yeah. Freaking lucky as hell.
Yeah. You're living a lucky life, Steve.
Hey, man. Tell you what, it's good shit.
Are you? Do you think about your existence here as far as like? Are you? I know we've talked about. We'll keep it off the record, but your existence on planet Earth. Are you thinking about that at all?
Not that deep.
Yeah.
No.
It's like when I mean existence on planet Earth, just like do you ever like, bro? It happened to me, and I would think this is like hippie talk a few years ago, really, but I'm telling you, bro. I had a night where I looked at the stars. So I was out in Joshua Tree. Looked out at the stars and was like, this shit is nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you kind of see it a little bit bigger, I was always just in the athlete,
of course it's
in the
like
athlete bubble.
Yeah.
It will
I
happen.
thought about.
It will happen.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
It will happen. But it's like that's where I stopped worrying about like trivial shit as much. Things feel a little more like trivial when you think we're living on a fucking rock. We're all just living life on a rock, guys.
Yeah.
My boy, this dude Hardy. I'll play it for you guys off. It's not my. I would play it. It's not my song to play. The song's called A Rock, and he like puts all of life in 4 minutes, and that's the final.
And it's a song.
Yeah, he's like, when you're a kid, I don't even know. It's not my song. I don't want to fucking give away the concept, but it's nuts. But yeah, bro, that's how. Yeah, I can't wait for all you motherfuckers to retire. I'm gonna take you on this. I'm gonna take you on my journeys with me.
A big Steve.
As soon as you guys retire,
tour.
it's the first thing we're doing. We're going to the Stevenson, Steve retreat for sure. That's what it is.
For washed up NFL alum.
Well, not washed up. Storied
Just
veterans.
getting started.
Storied veterans, baby. But man, thank you so much for doing this. And
dude, thanks
you guys
for
are
having
fucking
me.
sweethearts for coming over and doing it. And I love you guys. When's the next time? I mean, you leave within this month.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come by.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come by to the crib,
You
but we'll probably play a little beer pong before you get out of town.
Fact.
And we'll probably sprinkle in our episode at the end if we can.
Perfect.
Just me hitting the last cup on your ass.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
That's not gonna exist.
Thank you so much.
Thank
man.
you, brother. Love you, man.
Love you, Stevie.